Is Phoebe and her weapon a must pull? Let's find out. I'll get to her kit, echoes, teams, and everything else later. But first, I'll just start with her weapons. And we have the event weapon first, which you can get from the main event, the fishing one. And to be honest, this looks really good for a 4-star weapon. Like, the rectifiers are always the best looking weapons in this game. Alright, let's look at the stats. So, it's a 4-star weapon, so of course, 462 attack, and then 18.2% attack. Okay, just off these two, the weapon is not that good. But that's where the weapon skill comes in and saves it. So I'm gonna judge this weapon based on the R5. Since you get R5 for free from the main event, dealing damage to enemies with Spectral Frazzle increases the wielder's spectral damage by 10%. Okay, still that's not enough to like make up for a low attack. Let's keep reading. Gaining 1 stack per second for 6 seconds, stacking up to 4 stacks. Okay, this saves it, guys. 40% spectral damage. Okay, this weapon is too good for 4-star. What the heck? Like, it's really good, and it might outperform some 5-star weapons. I mean, they're just giving you 40% spectral damage for free, just like that. Like, yeah, make sure to get this weapon. As for the effect duration or a Spectral Frazzle, you don't need to worry about that, especially if you're using Phoebe with Spectral Rover, because Rover also applies Spectral Frazzle, but that's not all, guys. So thanks to Rover's forte here, as you can see, skill applies Spectral Frazzle and also Shimmer, and this just makes him OP, because what Shimmer does is basically prevents Spectral Frazzle stacks from reducing over time, and this is really good because each time Spectral Frazzle activates on an enemy, he loses 1 stack, so yeah, this kind of saves it. So yeah, Rover is really good for Phoebe, but this Shimmer is not permanent, it's for like 9 seconds. As for the weapon value itself, keep in mind, guys, that Phoebe is the only rectifier character in the game with Spectral Frazzle in her kit, so she's the only one who can use this. No Verena or Shorekeeper, but then again, the Spectre MC can apply Spectral Frazzle too, so I guess it could work. But healers should be healers, and you'd get more if you invest time in your DPS, and you don't even need to worry about the weapon not giving crit rate. I mean, the new Spectral set, the Eternal Radiance, gives you 20% crit rate for 15 seconds. Yeah, pretty good. And you also get 10 spectral damage from here, and then another 15 here, so 25% Spectral Frazzle from here, and then another 12% spectral damage bonus from the Forecast Echo, the Nightmare Morning Eggs. So you basically have 25 from the 4-piece, and then 12 from the forecast, and then 40 from the weapon here. Like, that's already 77% spectral damage bonus. And then if you have like 2 3-cost spectral damage bonus, so like 60, like 137 spectral damage for free. But yeah, I don't think 2 spectral 3-cost is good for her, because she already has so much, so attack 3-cost might be better. Keep in mind, guys, your 3-costs always depend on what weapon you have on the character. And something else to keep in mind about this weapon is that if you don't get Phoebe, then yeah, this weapon is like completely useless on your account. You'll just sit around there doing nothing. Or if you have the String Master, then yeah, again, this weapon will become useless. I just can't see this competing with a String Master. Again, don't get me wrong, this is a really good weapon for Phoebe, but I think they mainly made this for like the new players, or for the people who don't have String Master and can't get Phoebe's signature weapon because they're saving for another character, or they don't have enough pulls. But if you have String Master and you're thinking about using this, then think again, because remember, this is another weapon that you have to invest time in, so credits and materials and wavelets. I might make a video where I compare this with a String Master and her signature if this video gets 800 likes, so yeah, like if you want to see that. Alright, next we have her signature weapon. Again, this thing looks gorgeous. I might just get this for the design alone. Like yeah, this just power creeped every other rectifier in terms of looks alone. Alright, let's just take a look at the stats now. So attack 500 and crit rate 36, so basically the same stats as the String Master, 500 attack and 36 crit rate. And if you have this, then it will be like super easy to get high crit rate on Phoebe. I mean, you get 36% crit rate from here, 20 from here, there we go, and then another 22 if you have a 4-cost crit rate, but I think crit damage might be better since the weapon is crit rate. And then we have the base 5% crit rate, and yeah, you're already at 83% crit rate. Like yeah, she's gonna be so easy to build, and I can't wait to build her. Alright, let's get to the weapon skill. I'm gonna be looking at rank 1. I don't think anybody here is gonna go for R5, so there's no point. Increases attack by 12%, good. Dealing damage to enemies with Spectral Frazzle, okay. Yeah, okay, this already locks this weapon to only Phoebe. So the same situation as her 4-star weapon from the event. Dealing damage to enemies with Spectral Frazzle gives 14% basic attack and 14% heavy attack damage bonus, respectively, stacking up to 3 times. Wait, so we're getting 42% basic attack and heavy attack. Dang, okay, that's pretty good. But again, Spectral Frazzle here, casting outer skill, bro, this is amplification, guys. It's not bonus, it amplifies it. The damage from Spectral Frazzle on enemies around the active Resonator by 30% for 30 seconds. Effects of the same name cannot be stacked. Okay, that's good, guys, because I was like, I would have jumped from my chair if this was stackable. But yeah, that would have been too much. I don't think it's a must pull, and I wouldn't recommend people to get it unless you really like Phoebe and you want to main her and max her. Because again, this weapon is locked to Spectre Frazzle, and I don't think it's worth putting Spectre Rover in every team just to get this weapon's skill. You'd get more if you build a proper DPS character. So yeah, this weapon is amazing. It's like the best of the best for Phoebe. But if you have the String Master, then you don't really need it. And if you don't have the String Master, then yeah, you have the event weapon too. I mean, this could possibly be another 80 wishes. If you want to pre-farm the weapon stuff, then yeah, here you go. So for now, until I test this in-game, I would say that her signature is the best that you can give her. And then the second best option is the String Master. And then we have the event weapon here. And if for some reason you missed the event, which you really shouldn't, then the craftable new forcer weapon works too. I mean, this new green weapon set like works on every single negative status. Alright, so before I move on to her kit, some of you guys might be wondering, what is Spectre Frazzle? I'll keep this short for now. So basically it's DOT, or damage over time. So some characters have this in their kit, so not everybody can do this. Right now there's only 2 characters in the game who have this, which are Spectre Rover and Phoebe. So basically when they do certain attacks, then they apply this negative status on the enemies, and this status deals Spectre damage every few seconds. So each attack gives you like a different amount of stacks. Like Spectre Rover's skill applies 6 stacks, and Phoebe's ultimate applies like 8. And each time the enemy takes damage, 1 stack is lost. So think of it this way: if your Rover applies 6 stacks of Spectre Frazzle, and then when the enemy takes the first Spectre hit, you lose 1 stack, 5 stacks now, and then bam, 1 second later, 4 stacks, 3 stacks. Yeah, you guys get what I mean. And this damage depends on your character's level, the enemy's defense, and the enemy's damage resistance, and the number of Spectre Frazzle stacks on the enemy. So the more the better. And it's not influenced by attack, crit rate, or any other factors. So yeah, make sure to level 90 your main DPS. And if you have 2 characters that apply Spectre Frazzle, then the damage will be determined by the highest level character on your team. And then here they talk about Spectre Rover's Shimmer, which I talked about earlier. And then Phoebe here, she does more damage to enemies that have Spectre Frazzle. And you can enhance negative status, so like all of them, not only Spectre Frazzle, there's like more. The damage is determined by your weapons, echo sets, and echo skills. So yeah, they did add other effects too, as you can see, for every single element, 1. And they will probably make new echo sets for these effects in the future. But this video is about Phoebe, and I know you guys wouldn't watch a 20-minute video from me. So yeah, if you want me to make a full video on the other effects, then let me know in the comments, and I will do that. And yeah, we can finally move on to Phoebe. So let's just start with her pre-farm materials. So she's a Spectral Rectifier DPS and Sub DPS if you want. Cleansing, you get it from the Lori. Firecrackers, you can collect them. But aren't these the same things that Roccia needed? Dang, okay, I guess they're the same. Okay, never mind. Whispering Core. You probably have a lot of these from the 1.0 enemies. No worries there. Helix, you can get this from Forgery. And then finally, we have the Sentinel Dagger, which you get from our Sentinel Jue. Let's move on to her animations. So first we have the I did animation, where she like, there we go, she just starts spraying. For the Sentinel, just like Jinhsi, so WW. And then we have the character menu. Okay, there we go. Shy Girl, okay, I see. And as always, I'll skip the wishing animation since it's better to see that endgame for the first time. Alright, let's get to her kit now. I'll simplify everything. So her basic attack is a 3-hit combo, as you can see here. Her heavy attack consumes stamina and deals spectral damage. With her mid-air attack, she jumps and then charges into the enemy, dealing spectral damage. Her heavy mid-air attack consumes stamina. She jumps and yeah, more distance. And you can recast this after dodging or after you use a grapple. So yeah, basically this is what you use with her to fly around. And then we have her dodge counter. So you deal spectral damage, and while you're in her skill ring, this gets enhanced. Let's get to her skill. It summons a ring around the enemy and freezes them for 2 seconds, and also deals spectral damage. And if you use a skill again, then you teleport inside the ring and deal spectral damage. Keep in mind that there's a max range, so make sure that you're close to the circle. Alright, so what does this ring do? Well, it lasts for 30 seconds and there can only be 1. So if you recast it, then the old one disappears. And she has 2 different attacks. So first, if you're outside of the ring and you do a basic attack or a dodge counter and it hits the mirror ring, then the damage will get reflected inside the ring and hit the enemies inside, deal spectral damage, and pull the enemies towards the center of the ring. This damage is considered basic attack damage and can be triggered every 0.5 seconds. And when she's inside the ring, her basic attacks will be enhanced into this new 3-hit basic attack combo that again deals spectral damage and is considered basic attack damage. So her ultimate is her nuke. Absolution increases damage multipliers by 255%. Confession applies 8 stacks of Spectral Frazzle to the target. Keep these two in mind since we'll be mentioning them a lot, since most of her kit is based around these two things here. Alright, let's get to her 40. So her 40 stacks are called Prayer. And when it's full, you can do one of these two things here. So for the first one, you just hold the basic attack button and apply 1 stack of Spectral Frazzle. And she enters into her Absolution state, which we already covered up here. Again, I'll mention these two a lot. So Absolution basically allows her to do more damage. And then the other thing that we can do is hold the skill button. So this will deal spectral damage, apply 1 stack of Spectral Frazzle. And again, Confession, so 8 stacks of Spectral Frazzle. And this will allow her to better exploit Spectral Frazzle. And something else to keep in mind is that you can only use one of these buffs at a time. So if you get the other one, then yeah, the old one will end. And you can't use these two attacks if you have Divine Voice. And if you don't have Divine Voice, then Phoebe will exit Absolution and Confession. Alright, so how do you get Divine Voice? Well, she can hold up to 60 Divine Voice. And you get the 60 when you use one of her 240 attacks, when her 40 is full. Alright, so how do you get 40 stacks? She can hold up to 120 40 stacks. And you get 5 every second. You also have the heavy attack Starfish, which is basically an enhanced version of her heavy attack that deals spectral damage, and this also uses up 30 Divine Voice. And to do this attack, you need her third basic attack or dodge counter, and then your next heavy attack will get replaced with the heavy attack Starfish. Oh, and if you have Absolution, then instead of 30, you will use up 15 Divine Voice, and you'll get 256% damage amplification. Or if you have Confession, you apply 5 stacks of Spectral Frazzle. So only use this if you have either of these two. Alright, next we have her intro. So it knocks the enemy back and deals spectral damage. And then we have her outro. So you deal spectral damage equal to 528% of her attack. And you get one of these two, depending on the 40 buff that you have. And this second buff here, Confession, it's just OP. I wouldn't be surprised if they release another Spectral Frazzle DPS, since this thing will reduce the spectral damage res of the enemies, amplify Spectral Frazzle damage by 100%. So yeah, this thing is very OP. And you really want to play her with Spectral Rover. And since Spectral Rover can heal your team, you can use another sub DPS in a team if you want. Alright, let's get to her inherent skills. Inherent skill 1, mid-air heavy attack, can be cast 1 more time. Okay, good. Inherent skill 2, this thing is OP. Again, when she's in Absolution or Confession, her spectral damage bonus is increased by 12%. Yeah, she'll probably be better with the attack 3 cost. Alright, let's get to her rotations. So first, you want to max her 40. And again, pick one of these two buffs here. Heavy attack for more damage. And skill to apply Spectral Frazzle, so sub DPS. And then you want to use a Starfish attack. So after a dodge counter or a third basic attack, hold the attack button. And depending on the 40 buff that you picked, you get one of these two things here. And then you want to do her skill, spawn the ring, do an attack, and then press the skill button again, teleport inside, and yeah, seems pretty easy. So yeah, main DPS, fast concerto, and Spectral Frazzle. Alright, I'll keep it a buck with you guys. Overall, she seems like a really good pick for new players, since Spectral Rover is her best teammate right now. And again, that 4-star event weapon is pretty good too. I can't wait to test her and make a full guide. Let me know what you think and if you're going to pull for her. And if this video helped you, then you can help me by liking and subscribing. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Thanks for watching.